hoop. This is another modified Nerf Rapidstrike. It has an integrated Strongarm, as you can see. I'll go over the internal mods of the paint job and then show you it firing. This was actually a contract for somebody who goes by the tag of Rogue, as you can see there. It's not Nerf Rogue on Nerf Haven or Nerf Revolution, it's a different guy. But that's his tag, so I drew it in there, which I'll get to in a little bit. But I'll go over the internal mods first, starting with the Rapidstrike. The most substantial modification was taking out the thermistor, the resistors, all of that crap, and I actually replaced the motors entirely with the Extreme 180s. These motors are the best motors I've found. They're compatible with all of the flywheel guns because Nerf actually uses the same size 130 motors. The 180s are longer than the stock motors, so you do have to drill into your shell to allow them to pop out. I've had extended motors 3 times now, and I've left them exposed to cover them with caps, but this is probably my new favorite way to do it because they are exposed to impact. So I actually bolted on a piece of 1/8" polycarbonate, which I painted black here. That's typically transparent, but I painted it to match. And that guards the motors because if you can see real closely there, you could actually bang into the motor, and just in case you could accidentally break your solder point and break off the wiring, then the gun wouldn't work, or you could actually hurt the motor. So that just protects it from impact. However, it's not watertight. None of this blaster is watertight, and because it's an electrical component, you do not want to throw water on it. It's not waterproof. I would not recommend using any flywheel blaster in the rain, especially with upgraded motors, because you could short them out, and if you're running a LiPo, there's always potential there to start a fire or do something terrible with your LiPo. But the motor replacement is the most substantial modification, and taking out the resistors and the thermistor is really important so you can upgrade the batteries. This actually has the stock battery tray because he's going to be using truss fires, which work excellent with these motors. Other than that, I took out the electronic and mechanical locks, and I've re-lubricated the internals. I've done that a dozen times, and I've said that a dozen times, so I'm sure you knew that was coming. So the blaster operates very smoothly, pretty much just like stock, with the exception of the performance upgrade, but you can't feel anything poorly going on internally. That's it for the Rapidstrike. Getting into this is an integrated Strongarm. If you don't recognize it, maybe being upside down, it might help you. This doesn't actually have internal modifications because I was doing some testing with the air restrictor removal, and the performance increase is negligible. I did see a video saying that's not actually an air restrictor, it's this timing thing. That's a load of bullshit, so I'm not even going to defend that point right now, but it is an air restrictor. Taking it out will help just a tiny bit, but the chronograph readings it's honestly not worth it. But I did re-lubricate everything, so the air seal is actually better than in stock form. It is shooting a little bit harder, but not substantially. You actually can't eyeball it. I only know that because I chronographed it. I did cut down the Strongarm. I cut off the handle and then cut off the back to fit into the Rapidstrike shell. I've done a similar integration with the Longshot many years ago, and I've done that a couple of times. This is the first time I've done a Strongarm Rapidstrike. It's very well balanced. I'm quite surprised. The integration itself is quite solid. I first super glued and then hot glued the shell, and I actually banged that on the table a couple times, and hot glue alone, because of how I applied it, was actually strong enough, but that's typically not good enough for me, so I actually added epoxy putty around the side to also smoothen out the gap and to strengthen the connection. It's not seamless by any means. You can definitely see that there's epoxy putty there, and the photographs will show that a little bit better. But I still am very happy with it. It's very clean, and the orientation is perfect, which is the most important part about an integration. Sometimes if you get it a little off and you're shooting Strongarm and it's shooting out this way, it will drive the operator crazy, but this one is pretty consistent and very accurate. I did cut down the slide slightly differently than what you might expect, and if you're like, oh, that idiot won't be able to prime that, what is he doing? I actually cut slots into the priming handle, which you can see in the photographs in the beginning of the video, so when you pull back the priming handle, it just goes around the magazine. This is a newer way to do that, to allow you to have a bigger handle, because usually when you cut down the Maverick handle, it's not a big deal, but cutting down the Strongarm handle is sort of a bad idea because it can actually lead to malfunction and not being primed correctly, which is unfortunate. That's just a design flaw with a Strongarm. Not really a flaw because it only comes apparent when you modify the gun, and Hasbro obviously isn't going to tune their gun for modders, but this solves the problem. It has a big old handle. Unfortunately, you cannot use drum magazines, but stick mags are absolutely the way to go. It's the most space efficient way to rig up any loadout. I'm a huge advocate of 18-round mags. So I think I've covered all of the modifications. Overall, with the modifications, I'm super happy. I might actually, if I ever run a Rapidstrike personally, I would probably put a Strongarm on it. That just feels really cool. The balance is perfect. I did not think it was going to turn out this well. Most integrations usually feel really foreign when they're done. I don't mean it would be bad. But it's very well balanced, and I really like the feel. It's very easy to operate. The hand just wants to naturally sit on the priming handle, which would allow you to slam fire or fire, and the trigger is super easy to activate with your offhand. Getting to the paint job, this was all custom ordered, keep in mind. I don't like to do repeat paint jobs, but this was actually based on the previous Rapidstrike, which was gray and red with silver, very similar to this, which started all with a black vinyl dye primer. This is a matte black vinyl dye. So after everything was primed with vinyl dye, I actually painted the shell and the integration, all of this bit, with a automotive gray, which I will give a name in the description. And after that was dry, I added Krylon red, exact item name for all of these paints are in the description again, and then I also have Krylon enamel details. Something rather unique to my modifications, I actually put in the guy's name or his tag. I doubt that's his birth name on his birth certificate, but it is Rogue, as you can see. That was done because I printed out a piece of paper with Rogue on it in a font that I thought was catchy, and then put it on painter's tape, got an X-Acto blade. It took quite a long time to get very accurate lines. After I had a cutout of the electrical tape, I'm sorry, not the electrical tape, the painter's tape, Alex, you put it on and you smother paint everywhere, and then you take it off after that's dried, like an hour later, and then you clear coat the whole blaster, and it turned out mad. So as you can see, I'm very happy with the Rogue. I think it's very clean. The font isn't particularly fancy, but because you have to cut it with an X-Acto blade, you can't get too fancy unless I got like a laser cutter, printed it out, and just set a template on top, which is an option, but very difficult, and I don't have a laser cutter. And of course, I finished off the paint job with a matte clear coat. I did not, as I mentioned, clear coat the magazine or some of the black components just because clear coating vinyl dye is not necessary, and it decreases the feel and smoothness of the functioning. And something that I've been doing, I don't know if people have noticed, but I do not paint the top of the magazines, at least for the clear ones, because I think they look way cooler clear, and I really like clear stuff, but painting the bottom of the mag still makes it look cool and match the paint job. But I also ran a piece of electrical tape down the back. As you can see, that's actually clear, so when you get the runner in there, you can actually see the runner throughout and see how much ammo you have while you're looking at the back of the magazine. So as you can see, the operator is obviously back here, so you can see how much ammo you have while blocking it from the front in your enemies. If you're shooting at them, hopefully you're not looking away from them. But I think I've talked too much in this video. I apologize for that. That's the video. Let me know if you like the paint. If I went too realistic on you, I apologize. I am curious in your opinion regarding the last olive drab green gun I painted as well. I like toy looking guns, but the other ones look really badass and I can't avoid that. So that's the end of the video. I'll shut up now. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.